So before buying any PC parts, most people will go to YouTube and check for reviews. Normally they benchmark with using 4K and max graphics, which is the best way to check how strong a GPU is. So for this review, all benchmarks will be at 1080p and we're going to answer two questions. One, can most games run at 540 frames, the same refresh rate as my monitor? And number two, is this worth buying for 1080p? Also, we'll be pairing this beast of a card with the 7800 X3D CPU, which is, I still think, is the best gaming CPU you could buy. So for the first game, we're going to start off with Fortnite, and as you can see, these are all the settings. All I've done is turned off the motion blur and turned off the anti-aliasing or super resolution, and put everything else pretty much just maximum as it can be, and we're going to test to see how it runs in game. So we just got into a game, and honestly, it's running pretty smooth. Like for max settings, 120 FPS. Like it's pretty stable. Like I thought there would be a lot more starters. Oh, never mind. There's quite a lot of starters, but yeah, we're back now. So far, yeah, it just seems like it's just pretty smooth gameplay, honestly. Like, oh shit, that's a bar. Even being in a fight, it didn't stutter, nothing really happened. Like, this game looks so good as well, holy shit. And it's like, yeah, I would say like it's a stable, like if I kept this at like 120, I think it would be a lot more stable. But yeah, you can see it did start a little bit once we start looking a bit further, but yeah, but it's like, it's at like 90, so it's like, if you want like a smooth 60 FPS, 100% this is definitely worth it. Even 90 frames, like honestly, if you kept it at 90 frames, it would definitely be a smooth 90. So yeah, it seems a little stuttery, which I'm kind of disappointed about, but overall, it doesn't feel like awful. I feel like if I kept the frames, probably it would be a lot more smoother. I don't like the stutters though, so let's try capping the frames actually and see if actually it makes a difference. Yeah, the FPS is still low, but oh my god, I just almost killed myself. Yeah, the FPS is a bit like, yeah, it's like staying more like 90, 120. Like it's not really a stable 120, but you can definitely tell like it's a lot more better. So let's exit this game and we're gonna try putting it on performance mode. So we're back and these are the settings that I just changed. So we're on performance mode now, 100% resolution. View distance is far, textures low, mesh is low. So pretty much everything's basically turned low. I'll honestly, you know what, let me put near and just see, that'll probably make a difference. Alright guys, so we just loaded it into another game, and as you can see already, we're pretty much hitting like 500 FPS, which is pretty insane. If I'm hitting like 500 frames now, it's pretty insane. But whoa, I swear the bus jump just like eats your frames every single time. I think the frames will get a lot more better. Like you can already tell it's getting a lot more better as soon as we get closer to the bottom of the map. Yeah, it's like 500. Like it's not 540 stable, but it's honestly, it's pretty good. Like it doesn't feel rough, it doesn't stutter as it was as much when we had max graphics, which could be a Fortnite problem, or yeah, because it's a battle royale. Like there's probably a reason why they still have DX11 as an option. Holy shit, yeah, the FPS is pretty much, no, it's actually, I would say this could be like 540 stable. Honestly, like right now it's running like too smooth right now. Like I can definitely feel the difference. Like it feels so like realistic in a weird way. This is pretty insane. Like just playing performance mode, just wow, amazing. So we just loaded up some Overwatch. We are using the competitive settings with a low preset quality, and pretty much, yeah, it's like 540 stable-ish. Like it will probably drop when we start, you know, ulting and fights, but it won't drop that much. I think it'll drop like lowest like 500. It seems pretty stable. Like it's not dropping. Like yeah, I'm not getting full 540, but like you missing like 4 FPS is really not gonna make such a big difference. As you can see, like pretty much it works really well. It really isn't dropping. Like it feels like really smooth. Like I cannot complain about anything right now. Yeah, even look at attempts. Like attempts are so like super low right now. There's no stuttering, no nothing. This is like genuinely just really smooth gameplay. It's like for most people, I know people are gonna run like a 360 or 240 hertz most likely, or even more like 120. And honestly, it's like if you want to go like overkill on the GPU like this, like you can pretty much play any game, any settings at that like refresh rate. I don't think we've ever dropped to even 500 yet. I think like, yeah, it's like him. Okay, never mind, we did drop to 500. I mean, even still, like, if it's generally not going under like what's the word, under like 500, is it really gonna be a difference? It's so small that you do have to notice it, and for me, I can definitely notice it because the 1% dips are like much more higher frame rate wise on this GPU, because on a 4070 it was definitely dipping to like 460, maybe even lower as like 440. And you could definitely feel the difference. Like, it wasn't bad or anything, like it wasn't an issue, but you could definitely feel it, like you could definitely tell. Okay, so we just got put in the middle of the game, but these are the graphics settings. We are on Epic. Let me put this in default. Pretty much when we're on the Epic quality preset, and honestly, yeah, this is running way better than I expected. Like, it's pretty much like 500 frames smooth. Not 500 frames, sorry. I meant to say 360 frames. So it's like, if you're running a 360Hz monitor, obviously I wouldn't put it max. As you can see, it is dipping down below 360, so I would actually, but like, if you put this on like medium or high settings, like, I think it'll be 360 frames pretty much stable. We literally just send like 340. It will go to 400 sometimes, and sometimes it'll drop to like 360, even sometimes 340, but like, honestly, if you play on high settings, you definitely can easily just have like a smooth 360. Alright guys, so before we get into a game, I want to show you guys the settings we're using. We are using the Quality Extreme graphic preset, no DLSS, variable rate shading is off, and pretty much everything is maximum. So we just got into a game, and so far it's really smooth, like 200 frames, which is pretty insane, but we're playing on, like, I generally have no complaints. I put this at like 200 frames, like this would be like such a smooth experience, like an extremely smooth experience. Just even at 1080p without having like the SSS, and it's like running over like 200 frames, like it's just crazy to me. Now we're definitely gonna have to try minimum setting soon, but honestly, 200 frames, you lock it, it's gonna be like the most smooth experience you ever have, and it's just crazy to me how good this game actually looks without having some like crappy thing. But let's say we wanted more frames, right? Before we go into, you know, lowering the settings, there is an option here called FSR, and you don't have to use upscaling, you can use quality, but we're gonna try native with AMD frame generation on. Wow, that's a lot of frames. So pretty much you can play this game on native resolution with almost like 400 frames, which is insane. Like 3.0, honestly, if you feel like it makes the input delay too much, then definitely don't use it. But for me personally, I never had an issue with it unless I'm playing low frame rates. Like, I don't think you should use frame gen when you have low frames, because the input delay on it is just so bad that it's just, I generally don't think it's worth it. At the same time, I feel like if you have like 120 FPS, honestly just slap it on, turn it on, see how it feels for you, because the more frames you have, the less input delay. Yeah, this is pretty insane. Okay, so now let's try the minimum, and then we're gonna turn off the frame gen, and let's just see how this game runs now. So low frames, yeah, we gained like almost 150 frames, I would say. Like, this is super smooth. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how smooth this game is right now. Like, I know, like, if I tweak the settings now, I can make this like super smooth. Like, if I play on my like old like 4070 settings, I definitely could get like 500. Okay, so now let's try with the FSR 3.0 with the frame gen. Holy shit, yeah, so we're getting about 600 frames. And as obviously you can tell, whew, it is smooth. Like, I feel snappy with this. Like, yeah, it is dipping down to like 520, but like, honestly, like, if it stays above like 600, perfect. So as you guys can see, we are finally on The Last of Us, which is a pretty heavy VRAM game. And we're on the graphic preset Ultra. There's no DLSS, no nothing. Pretty much everything is native resolution at max settings. So you can see as we're going to cutscene, it's pretty smooth and the game looks beautiful. Even at 1080p, this game just looks really good. Like, it's actually quite insane. And as you can see, even with like things moving around and stuff like that, I would say it's like a good 170 plus. As you can see, it's running really well. Like, I generally have no complaint. So now we're still on the extreme preset, but we're gonna turn on the scaling mode for the FSR3, and we're gonna have frame gen on, and we're gonna see how it runs. As you can already see, we're almost hitting 400 frames. We can definitely tell the graphics has gone down a bit. Like, honestly, not really by much. You can tell by like the floor here, it does look a little less sharp, like a tiny bit. Like, it's actually really hard to tell the difference, to be honest, between native and quality. But if you wanted like a FPS boost, you definitely can get it. We're pretty much sitting over like 300 frames right now. Like, I actually want to see if I can feel a difference. Let's go back to default resolution, fully native. Honestly, it's so hard to tell, to be honest. Like, it's genuinely really hard for me to tell. Like, I can tell, like, if I really look closely, like, I can definitely see it, but like, it's so hard. But honestly, like, if you play with quality mode, you're not gonna realize if you're on native or using super resolution. And even in the cutscenes, they are super smooth. Like, it still looks really good. Like, I can definitely see it. Like, I know, because I showed my friend Saidi The Last of Us, like, because I was benchmarking earlier. I should have got his reaction, but Jesus, you really can't tell much of a difference. But the frame rate is extremely stable. So we are in Valorant, and we are playing on pretty much low settings on everything except for anti-aliasing. Let me turn that off. Let me just turn it. And as you can see already, like, the frame rate, it's not dropping under 500 for it anytime soon. Like, it's extremely smooth. If I can't win a game or win duels, it's generally just a skill issue. Can't use any more excuses. If I kept this game at 540, it will be like the most smoothest 540, which I might do, to be honest. Try this game on max settings. Let's put everything on high. FSX 16, improve, cast shadows, and honestly, it's literally just gonna sit on 540 yeah, it's literally gonna sit on like 600. Like, it's not, well, it did drop down to 500, but it didn't drop down 540. So this is still extremely good experience. Like, there is no complaint at all. Yeah, like, honestly, I could actually probably play the game on max settings now. Any issues, but this is deathmatch, so like when ultimates come into the mix, maybe it'll drop a little bit more. But honestly, if it's still like sitting around 650, 680, like, it'll definitely should be fine. I would still prefer to play on lower settings though, just because I do like to look. I might keep the textures high, but that's really it. ULTRAKILL, and already, as you can see, the FPS is pretty insane. Obviously, it's just the main menu, so it doesn't really matter, but I do want to try and see, you know, how many frames we can actually get during, you know, playing the game. Like I expected, like really high frame rates, since of course, you know, this game doesn't really use that much. It even goes to 1000. Okay, that's new. Pretty much no complaints. Legit, just perfectly good gameplay right here. And this target frame is pretty kind of like useless, so it's just better to have it uncapped. And as you can see, it sits around 800 now. Set up a CS2 deathmatch, and I want to show you guys the settings I'm using. I'm using the competitive settings, which is pretty much just everything turned low except for the super resolution that is disabled instead of quality. And as you can see, we're pretty much getting a stable, yeah, like a stable 500, 400-ish. Like, I would say it's more of like 40. This game isn't really optimized the best, so it's never gonna feel as consistent. Game is still gonna be like very laggy. Honestly, so far, I might be wrong because it's pretty smooth right now. I think it's only some areas what I'm looking at, like here. If I look at this direction, you can see the FPS go down. If I look in here, this direction, a smooth 400 hertz experience, but 500, I don't think it's gonna hit it unless we try to tweak some settings. Let's put this on quality, because I'm pretty sure this was on quality before. See if we can even get like an FPS boost. I mean, it did help. Like we even just hit 600 now, but like resolution, super sampling, like you can definitely tell is way lower. But now let's try this with the very high preset and see how the game runs. And honestly, this is weird. Even on max settings, we are still like pulling in like 300 frames plus, which honestly isn't that far off. We even just hit 400 there, but that really isn't far off compared to the like lower settings, which I actually hate that about CS2. Like I don't get it. Like the low settings don't feel like low. Like yeah, you can definitely tell everything is lowered, but the FPS boost really isn't that much. Not saying it's not worth to play on low, like definitely low is better, but I feel like it should be a way bigger difference compared to like very high. Because honestly, like if you have a 240Hz monitor or a 360, easily run this at very high preset. Like it's actually running a lot smooth. I do notice though, even with like very high, GB percentage is still low. So it's like, not really sure why we can't get really a stable 540. So Callisto Protocol is definitely a game that I think is kind of underrated and overhated, but we're not here to talk about that. We are playing on the Ultra preset. I had to turn off the upscaler because the Ultra preset comes with upscaling, so I turned that off. We're going to see how the game runs. And loading into the game, as you can see, let me just go to this guy quickly. It is stuttering a little bit already, I can tell. I haven't played this game in a while, but we're sitting on 190 FPS, even going above to 200. I can definitely tell the game is stuttering a little bit, but it seems... No, never mind, the stutter is still there. It's bad. Not the worst thing, like probably all we need to do is cap our frame rate and then it probably will stop stuttering as much. But overall, it's a pretty experience right now. Hold on, let's try to find more enemies, because that's when it started stuttering. So as you can see, after finding those two guys, pretty much the game is like really still smooth. Like it didn't stutter as much compared to the beginning. So honestly, running this game maximum, definitely playable. If it stutters more, all I need to do is cap the frame rate and it won't stutter again. So again, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully this will help you out. You know, if you really want to spend a lot of money on a GPU, when you obviously there's lots of different options. Like you can buy so many like budget GPUs that are really good, like a 4060. But hopefully this video helped you out. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for all the love, and peace out.